Notion has recently released many features, and if you want to stay on top of all these features that they release, you will need to check their What's New page very often. Or you can watch this video and understand the key new features that Notion has created over the past 2 months, September and October. And in this video, we're going to go through 5 of them. The first feature is auto-expiring public pages. That means that whenever you share a page in Notion right now, share to web, you can choose whether you want the link to expire or not, and when. In here, you can click on never, and by default, it is going to never expire. But you can also choose other option, in an hour, a day, a week, or you can choose your custom expiration date. And at that point in time, this page will be automatically unshared from the web. Next up, feature number 2, and that is you can use dynamic @mentions in the title of a database template. Until now, whenever you create a new template from here, you could not use the @mention feature to have dynamic data displayed on your template title. Now you can. And so whenever you type in a template, and you see we are editing a template right now from this bar right here, you can choose whether the date is dynamic or not. For example, do you want to have today, date when duplicated? That means whenever you duplicate that template, whenever you create a new template, you will have that date be dynamic to that specific day. And also for users, there is the same thing. You can choose to mention a user dynamically whenever the page is duplicated. And so if I choose me at today, date when duplicated, and let's assume this is a habit tracker, so I can do here, I can do set as default, and I'm going to create a new page right here, and I will have the username plus today, and I can also change it right here. And then here I can have a couple of checkboxes, just like that. And that is how you set up a default template using the new feature, which is dynamic @mentions in templates. Next up, Notion has released the ability to widen columns on a page. And so in this example, we have some content in here on 2 columns, and we can widen this column right here. When I go all the way to the left or all the way to the right of this column, I can expand it as I like, and all the other content remains in the standard width of that page. This text, for example, didn't expand. And that's the new feature that you can use whenever you have multiple columns to expand content across the entire page, if you like, while keeping all the rest in the same standard Notion width. Feature number 4 is about improvements to how you can invite bots or automation bots to your Notion pages. Until a couple of weeks ago, you would have needed to go into the share menu and then invite the bot from here once you create a connection. Right now, that setting has moved on the 3 dots right here in the top right corner of a page or a database. And when you scroll all the way down, you have add connections. Let me move it out of here. You have add connections. And in here, you have a list of predefined automation tools that you might choose from, or you can directly type the name of the bot that you created and it will appear in your list. For example, if I type make, you will see that I have a bot, a testing account right here, that I can invite this page via this menu. And now I can see under connections that this bot right here has editing access with all the permission levels that the bot has right here. And finally, Teamspaces. Teamspaces are a very big addition to Notion. They were released early in September, and you can think of Teamspaces as mini workspaces within your big Notion workspace. I've written an extensive article about Teamspaces that you can find in the description of this video, but essentially, Teamspaces are a way to organize your left sidebar menu in multiple sections. And you can only have Teamspaces in the team plan or the enterprise plan of Notion. And each plan has a bit different features when it comes to permission levels. And if you look at these pictures, in this workspace, there are 2 Teamspaces, one called General and one called Templates. And you can collapse or expand Teamspaces accordingly here from this arrow. And then you have the 3 dots menu where you can set up Teamspace settings. And that's where you can manage all the access levels, description of the Teamspace, and members. And whenever you open that menu, here you have multiple tabs. There is General, where you can name your Teamspace. You can also add a description for people to understand what it is about. Then you have Members. here's where you can decide who has access to that Teamspace and at what level. Is that a Teamspace owner? That's the highest level. Is that a Teamspace member or just a viewer of that Teamspace? Then you have the permissions tab, and this changes depending on your plan. On the team plan, you will only have open and closed capabilities for Teamspaces. On the enterprise plan, you can also make Teamspaces private, so only accessible and visible by the specific members that you add from the members tab right here. And finally, you also have security in Teamspaces, and this depends on your plan as well. In enterprise plans, you have a higher degree of security in terms of management of security, whereas in the team plan, you do not have some of these features. So in here, you can disable public sharing, you can disable guests from being invited to the pages within your Teamspace, and you can also disable any exporting of data. And that is Teamspaces. And if you noticed, there is also a bonus new feature, which is whenever you have images on a Notion page, you can open those images in a carousel format, and you can scroll through them through the arrows right there. Thank you for watching. Feel free to drop any questions or thoughts in the comments, and see you soon.